Okay, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 3rd. We are, 2 days away. I'll be back on Thursday. So, this is the penultimate video. So, this is for my integrated math class. We're working on multi step equations. So, all we're doing today is we're just upping the difficulty a little bit. Multi step equation 2. So if you finish multi-step equation 1, go ahead, grab multi-step equation 2, and let's get after it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over, I'm going to give you an example. There are three different types of problems. Three different types of problems that we're going to be going through. I'm going to do examples of each one, and then set you guys loose. And then the rest of the video is just if they end up having problems, Miss Sweezy, go ahead and fast forward or rewind to the place where that one is. So this video does have the entire worksheet worked out, but I would like them to, once the examples are given, be working on the worksheet by themselves and only reference the video when help is needed. Okay, so number one, we're going to take that -2 and we're going to distribute it. And all of these you're going to need to distribute first. Unlike the other ones, there's no opportunity here to go ahead and divide first. So we just need to get used to distributing first. So we're going to take that -2 and distribute. Now remember, when we take that -2 and distribute, it's not just the 2 we're distributing, it's the negative as well. So it's -2 times 4x. Drop the other negative down, that's this one right here. And then it's too much all at once. -2 times 2. So that -2 times, so then what we do is we go ahead and we do the multiplication. So -2 times 4x gives us -8x. Bring that negative down, and then we have -2 times 2, -4. Clear everything up. -4x minus 1 equals 7 minus 8x. -4 becomes +4. Okay, so now what we need to do is we start our combining like terms. We start that by working on each side of the equation. So here on the right-hand side, we can actually combine that 7 and 4 and get 11. So now we need to combine like terms across the equal sign. So again, I like to figure out which way, when I'm moving my variables, which way is going to keep my variable positive. So here I'm going to add 8x to both sides. And that's going to give me 4x minus 1 equals 11. Now we're almost there. Quick two-step problem. Add 1 to both sides. We get 4x equals 12. Divide both sides and we get 3. So notice on the right-hand side there, what I did was I checked my work. So I took that 3 that we got, put it back into the equation for both of the x's, because remember we have a -4x on the left-hand side, a positive 4x on the right-hand side. I sat there, plugged that 3 in for both of them, ran all the numbers, and look at what I got at the end. I got -13 equals -13. That is a true statement. If I put any other number in there, I would not end up with an equal sign, with equals. So, yay, we did it right. Okay, moving on. Number 6. So notice on number 6, after the first 5, we have 2 distributions, but we have them both on the same side of the equal sign. So we're going to take that -8, distribute it. We're going to take that 3 and distribute it. Now this is it's the same general idea, it's just tougher. So what we need to do is be more conscious about what our steps are. We need to make sure we're writing our steps down. We need to make sure we're going slow. We need to make sure we're keeping track of negatives. All of that to make sure that, because we know how to do this, but when it gets more complicated, we just slow down, make sure we're doing it right. So 9 equals -8 times p. And we bring that negative down. And again, that negative right there, this one, is not from the -8. It's from the p minus 2. This one right here, when we distribute, we bring the negative 8 there, times 2, plus 3 times 4p, plus 3 times 3. We do our multiplication. 9 equals negative 8p minus, and then inside the parentheses is negative 16, plus 3 times 4p is 12p, plus 3 times 3 is 9. Any of this stuff you guys don't know off the top of your head, grab a calculator, go boop, 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 and get the answers. You don't need to make the sound effects, but they help. You'll giggle at yourself. 9 equals negative 8p. We're going to clean up all our positives and negatives. So here we have negative 16. That turns into positive 16. Plus 12p plus 9. So now we need to combine like terms. So what I like to do is I like to rewrite the sentence with the mathematical sentence, rewrite the equation with all the like terms together. So I have 12p minus 8p plus 16 plus 9. So now when I rewrite it again, it makes combining like terms easier. So 12p minus 8p gave me 4p. 16 plus 9 is 25. So now I have 9 equals 4p plus 25. I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. That gives me negative 16 equals 4p. Divide both sides by 4. And I get negative 4 equals p. Okay, moving on to number 11. So now here we have two multiplications, but they're on opposite sides of the equal sign. So we are going to just do what we know how to do. Distribute that negative 6, distribute that 3. Negative 6 times 6a plus negative 6 times 7 equals 3 times 1 minus 3 times 7a. Negative 6 times 6a is negative 36a, plus negative 6 times 7, negative 42. 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 7a is 21a. Clean up my positives and my negatives. So we had plus negative 42, a plus and a minus together make a negative. So we have negative 36 minus 42 equals 3 minus 21a. So what we're going to do here is we are going to add 36a to both sides. By doing that, we move the, we make sure that my variable stays positive. It's easier in the long run. So we have negative 42 equals 3. Woo! 36 minus 21 is 15a. We're then going to subtract 3 from both sides. We get negative 45 equals 15a. Divide both sides. So I'm going to rewrite it here to make sure that we have clarity. Divide both sides by 15, and we get negative 3 equals a. Okay, so that is one of each type of problem. So now the rest of this video, we go back to number 2. And so if you're having trouble with number 2, go, hey, Miss Sweezy, or if this is on Wednesday, whoever the sub's going to be, say, hey, can you please show me number 2 on the video? Okay, so good luck, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. So number 2, we want to start off by distributing that 2. 2 times 5v plus 2 times 5 equals 3v plus 38. Do our multiplication. 10v plus 10 equals 3v plus 38. Here I'm going to move the 3v over. That's going to give us a positive 7v. We like to keep our variables positive. Subtract the 10 from both sides. Remember, what we're doing is we're isolating the variable with inverse operations. So we subtract 10 from both sides, and we get 7v equals 28. Divide both sides by 7, and we get v equals 4. Number 3, we're going to distribute that negative 2. Negative 2 times 8b. Remember, we need to distribute not just the 2, but the negative 2. Sorry, it sounded like it was raining for a second, so I had to be quiet. I'm not sure what that sound is. Anyway. Negative 2 times 8b is negative 16b plus a negative 2. Negative 2 times 1 equals 8 minus 6b. Clean up our positives and our negatives. So now we have that negative 16b and then negative 6b. So we're going to add 16b to both sides. That eliminates the 16b on the left-hand side and gives us a positive 10b on the right-hand side. So rewrite it so we have better clarity. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides because, again, we are isolating our variables using inverse operations. It's a plus 8 there that we need to get away. It's attached via addition and subtraction, so we have to use addition and subtraction to get rid of it. So now we have negative 10 equals 10b. We're going to divide both sides by 10 and get negative 1 equals b. And that's our answer. Number 4, we're going to start off by distributing that 2. 2 times 5 minus 2 times 6x equals negative 8x plus 14. Do the multiplication. 10 minus 12x equals negative 8x plus 14. Now here we don't have any positives or negatives to clean up, so we're just going to go straight ahead and add 12x. So we could either add 8x or 12x to both sides. We're going to do the one that gives us the positive number. So we have 10 equals 4x plus 14. So got to get rid of that 14. Remember, we work outside in. So we go negative 14. That gives us negative 4 equals 4x. Divide both sides by 4. And we get negative 1 equals x. Number 5, we're going to take that negative 5 and distribute it. So we have negative 5 times 8 plus negative 5 times 2x. Remember, when we distribute a negative number, we don't just distribute the number, we distribute the negative as well. Equals negative 16 minus 7x. So this gives us negative 40 plus a negative 10x equals negative 16 minus 7x. Clean up our positives and negatives. Now we have a negative 10x and a negative 7x, so we're going to add 10x to both sides. That's going to give us a negative 40. 10x minus 10x is 0, equals negative 16 plus 3x. 10 minus 7 is 3. If I lost 7 xylophones, that's negative 7x. And I then found 10 xylophones. That gives me 3 xylophones. I'm plus 3 xylophones. So add 16 to both sides. And I'm going to get negative 24 equals 3x. Divide both sides by 3. And I get negative 8 equals x. Okay, keep in mind we already did number 6, so we're jumping to number 7. Number 7, we are going to distribute the negative 8 and the negative 4. So we have 32 equals negative 8 times 2a. We bring down that negative. Remember, that negative, that's not from the negative 8, that's from that right there. And then we still distribute the negative 8 times 6. Same thing with the negative 4. We distribute the negative 4 both ways. And that negative right there, that's that negative, okay? It's that negative from the a minus 1. We drop that in between the a and the 1, but we still distribute our negative 4. 32 equals, do our multiplication, negative 8 times 2a, negative 16a, minus negative 8 times 6, negative 48, minus 4 times a, 4a, minus negative 4 times 1, negative 4. We're going to clean up our positives and negatives. We have a negative 48, that's positive 48, and we have a negative 4, so that's positive 4. We then rewrite to put everything together, combine like terms, and then so now we have 32 equals negative 28 plus 52. No opportunity to keep our variable positive, so we just jump right in and we have a plus 52, so we get rid of that with a negative 52. We end up with negative 20 equals negative 28. The 52's cancel. So now when we divide, we need to make sure we divide not just by 20, but by negative 20. And that gives us 1, which is good. Easy peasy. Number 8. We're going to distribute that negative 8 and the positive 8. Negative 8 times negative 2, bring down that negative right there. Again, something, especially when we're dealing with negatives, you want to go slow. You want to take your time. You want to make sure you're keeping track of your negatives. And that's why writing out all these steps, I know it's tiresome, I know it's cumbersome, I know it's a pain in the butt, but it is worth it because it helps you get the right answer. So we bring down that negative, and then we go negative 8 times 4m. We then have 8 times negative 4 plus 8 times 7m equals 16. Negative 8 times negative 2 is a positive 16, minus negative 8 times 4m is a negative 32m, plus 8 times negative 4 is negative 32, plus 8 times 7m is 56m equals negative 16. So we have 16 plus 32m minus 32 plus 56m equals negative 16. Want to rewrite everything? To put everything together. So that's a 56m, not just 56. I'll go back and change that in just a second. Now notice here that I put down negative 12. It's negative 16. I do go back and change that in just a second. So 56 plus 32m gives us 88m. Negative 32 plus 16 gives us negative 16 equals, and again, for some reason I put the negative 12 there. I'm going to add 16 to both sides. See, fix my mistake. So 88m minus 16, we're going to add 16 to both sides. That gives us 88m on the left-hand side. But what's negative 16 plus 16? Why, it's 0. That's right, 0. And that's okay. So now we're going to divide both sides by 88, which I was getting worried that I was going to have to actually divide by 88. But since it's 0, we know that m equals 0. Now, whenever I get zeros, I tend to go back and double-check my work. And it does work here. So if you ever get a 0 and you're concerned, you're like, hey, 0 shouldn't be an answer, go ahead, plug it back in, and make sure you get that after you're done plugging it in and simplifying everything, you should get a true statement. Okay, so number 9. We distribute our 7, and we distribute our 4. So we have 7 times negative 5a, plus 7 times 7, plus 4 times a, minus 4 times 3, equals 68. So that gives us negative 35a plus 49 plus 4a minus 12 equals 68. Rewrite so everything's together. Combine like terms, negative 35 plus 4a is negative 31a, plus 49 minus 12 is 37. We're going to subtract 37 from both sides. So we have negative 31a equals 31. Remember, when we divide here, we're dividing by negative 31 on both sides. A equals 31 divided by negative 31 is negative 1. Number 10, we're distributing the 8 and the negative 8, or the 2 8s, sorry, they're both 8s. So 64 equals 8 times n plus 8 times 1 plus 8 times n plus 8 times 5. 64 equals, we're going to do our multiplication, 8n plus 8 plus 8n plus 40. Rewrite that right-hand side to put everything together. Combine like terms. And now we have a standard two-step problem. Subtract 48 from both sides. We get 16 equals 16n. How do we get rid of multiplication? We divide. And that gives us 1 equals n. Number 12. So here we have 12, 13, 14, 15. All have two sets of distribution, but they're on opposite sides of the equation. So here we're distributing that 3 and that 5. So 2v plus 3 times 3v plus 3 times 3 equals 3. Distribute that 5. 5 times 7v plus 5 times 6. 2v plus 9v plus 9 equals 3 plus 35v plus 30. So what we need to do now is we need to combine like terms on either side. So we have 9v plus 2v. Always hitting the backwards button instead of the front button. Is 11v plus 9, 35v, and then we have 30 plus 3 is 33. So I'm going to subtract 11v from both sides. This is going to give me 9 equals 24v plus 33. I'm going to rewrite it out here for clarity. So we have 9 equals 24v plus 33. We subtract 33 from both sides. We get negative 24 equals 24v. Divide both sides by 24, and we get negative 1 equals v. Number 13, distribute. 4 times negative 5 minus 4 times 5n equals 7 times 6n plus 7 times 6. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Minus 4 times 5n, negative 20n. 7 times 6n, 42n. 7 times 6, 42. We're going to add 20n to both sides. That's going to leave us with a positive 62n as our variable. We then subtract 42 from both sides, and that gives us negative 62 equals 62n. We divide both sides by 62, and we get negative 1 equals n. We're going to distribute that both negative 2's. Now remember, when we distribute the negative 2's, we don't just distribute the negative, or just the 2, but the negative as well. 7p minus 2 times 4 plus negative 2 times 5p equals negative 2 times p plus negative 2 times 3. 7p, let's do that multiplication. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 plus negative 2 times 5p, negative 10p equals negative 2 times p, negative 2p plus negative 2 times 3, negative 6. Clean up our positives and negatives. Rewrite to put everything together. Combine like terms. Now here I'm going to add 3p to both sides. And that's going to give me negative 8 equals p minus 6. Rewrite out here in the center for clarity, negative 8 equals p minus 6. Add 6 to both sides, and we get negative 2 equals p. Last one. So here, funny enough, so over on the left-hand side, we have two n's. So even though we're distributing 2, now remember, so if we have that negative right there, just a negative in front, we write the 1 there because that just means that it's a negative 1 times that. So we're distributing a negative 1. N plus n. I'm going to rewrite that to be able to combine like terms. 2 times 1 plus 2 times 5n minus 1 times 7n. Make sure we distribute that negative 1. And again, that second negative, that's from this right here. It's that negative in front of the 8 that we're bringing down. M plus n is 2n plus 4. And then we do our multiplication. 2 times 1 is 2. Plus 2 times 5 is 10n. Minus 1 times 7n, 7n. Minus, I just took a little shortcut. Instead of doing negative 1 times 8, I just went straight to the plus 8. Rewrite to combine that's right, it's 15. So you guys have been doing this for a while, so I'm taking some shortcuts. 10n minus 7n is 3n. 2 plus 8 is 10. Rewrite for clarity, 2n plus 4 equals 3n plus 10. We're going to subtract 2n from both sides, and that gives us 4 equals n plus 10. Subtract 10 from both sides, and we get negative 6 equals n. And that's it. Good job, everybody.